I told my teacher I'd win an election.
Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Isaiah Yazi here on the Blue Transit, the Blue Bus. We are here with Senator Leo Jaramillo, and we are headed to Santa Fe today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. It did a great walking from Middle San Pedro to the West Side transit station in Espanola. So it's a good morning. So let me, if you want to hear of how my day starts, I'll let you know how that starts. So I wake up at 3 a.m. and meditate till 3:30, get the cat fed, and then since we don't get paid as senators, I have to keep my job. So I work part time in order to keep my benefits. So I need to work at least 20 hours a week, so I don't have to pay Los Alamos National Laboratory back for my health care, my dental, my vision. So what that means is I have a great group of coworkers who cover for me. Elisa Martinez is the woman who's backing me up right now, but that doesn't mean all the work is done. So from 3:30 to 6:30, I do Los Alamos work, and then 6:30 have a cup of coffee with my partner, talk about what the day is going to be, and I'm out the door by 7:30 to get to the Capitol by 8, and never know how long the day's going to be.
Oh yeah, especially at the Capitol.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some advantages to the Blue Bus, and why did you decide to ride it today?
Well, and it's not just today that I've taken the blue bus. I don't know if you know this, but before being a senator, I was the county commissioner.
Oh,
And so I would at least ride at least one meeting out of the year. I would take the blue bus from Espanola to Tierra Maria.
okay.
And so I did the last time I did it with our county clerk, our then county clerk, who's now the deputy county manager. We took that up, and it was just to show people how easy it is to take the bus, how convenient, and most importantly, that it's free. Right?
Oh,
People
okay.
sometimes talk about rising gas prices and not being able to get places. The blue bus is free, and it takes you. They cover 10,000 square miles
Oh, wow,
in
in all
northern New
northern-
Mexico. And if you think about that, that's huge for rural New Mexico to connect us, to get us places, get us there safely. New air filters in the
Oh,
buses.
in the bus?
In the bus.
After COVID? Wow.
Yep. So new air filters. It's just easy and convenient, and like I said, free. Right? Easy to get you to where you want to go. Every bus driver I've ever met is so nice. People are nice. Carlos and Callie, who are joining me today, we didn't even know we were going to be on the bus together. They walked from San Pedro. I was maybe 10 steps, 20 steps behind them. They're on the bus with us this morning. And so it's just an easy way to show people how they can get to the Capitol to talk to legislators, listen in on committee, or even speak up in committee about bills that mean something to them.
What are some of the bills that you are presenting at the Roundhouse this year?
So I'll give you the top five because,
Okay.
believe it or not, I want to say, sponsored and co-sponsored at least 14 bills.
Oh, wow.
And that's a big load to carry, even though it was a 60-day session. But let's talk about the top five. The number one bill that I co-sponsored that has the backing of the governor is the Universal Lunch and Breakfast Bill. So
Oh,
that's
I did hear about that.
free breakfast, free lunch for every student K through 12 in New Mexico. Now, what does that mean? That means that everybody eats. There's no stigma on who qualified for the free lunch program. And there's that correlation between learning and those with a full tummy, right? So our little
yeah.
kids who need all the nutrients they need, it's a way to also help us tap into local farmers and get fresh produce for our schools. And so that's my main bill. Another one, as we've seen in Espanola and throughout New Mexico, is catalytic converters that are being stolen. We had a neighbor in San Pedro whose catalytic converter was stolen with her being in there. This holds pawn shops, I mean, not pawn shops, this holds body shops and junkyards responsible and liable for taking those stolen goods. So you'll have to read that bill. It's about ensuring that it's documented, that it's legitimately the seller's catalytic converter that's being stolen. The third important bill I'm doing is one on possession. So what happens now is if people went to prison, right, and they're pulled over, here's an example. They got a broken taillight and a cop pulls them over. They're going to get a ticket for that. If for some reason they were searched and they have a small amount of drugs on them, This isn't trafficking, this is drugs. The judge now can dismiss that tail light, but not the possession. The bill I carried will ensure that that possession can be dropped as well, and that we don't have people going back into prison. The charge will be dropped, and they can get treatment instead of prison.
Wow.
The next one is I worked on a big game bill, which is big game comes into northern New Mexico and destroys property, right? And so this bill would be like a disaster fund. If big game comes in and destroys fences or eats your feed, it ensures that the state of New Mexico can help compensate these farmers for the losses that they received from big game. The fifth one is an Acequia Disaster Recovery Fund. So if you think about the fires that affected Mora and San Miguel counties, acequias were devastated. This would be a fund when there's federal money coming in and we need a match. The state would be able to match that money needed to help our acequia communities.
So let's talk a little bit more about the free lunch or the food bill that you proposed. Why is that so important to you?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know why it's so important, Isaiah, is because I qualified for free breakfast, free lunch. Came
Okay.
from very humble beginnings. A dad who was a bus driver and custodian, and a mom who retired as a school cook. And so it meant something to me, right? Those meals um, got us through the day, right? That toast and breakfast that we got, the lunch that we got, and so many kids in Espanola public schools qualified at that time for free breakfast lunch. There was no shame in receiving it, right? And so later on, the whole district qualified for free breakfast lunch. But if you think about other areas where people don't do that, every kid deserves a meal and not to be shamed or feel ashamed to receive something free. Because some kids can be mean. Knowing
Oh
what
yeah,
it means.
yeah. Especially nowadays.
Yes, and so as a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but I was a school teacher in Belen, and I remember a number of middle school students who qualified for free lunch wouldn't eat because of that stigma. So they would rather go hungry than let their peers know they qualified for free breakfast or free lunch. During committee, when we ran this bill, one senator asked about high school students who leave campus to eat. And I remember sometimes I'd leave campus to eat with friends, but it's not that I ate, right? I would say either I forgot my money or I wasn't hungry, but the truth is I didn't have money for that meal. This ensures everybody can eat, right? And so it takes my experience from me being in the program, me being a school teacher, seeing why students need this, and then my mom's experience as a school cook, a woman who served hundreds of thousands of meals
A
and
day.
yes, well, a year throughout her years because she retired, right?
Okay.
But who added a little bit more food onto the trays of students she knew that might be their last meal for the day. This bill meant so much to me, and I literally danced for joy when it passed the Senate. I literally danced because I thought of all those kids who are going to be able to get a nutritious meal twice a day for free, and it doesn't matter what your income is. And I literally said on the floor, everyone deserves a seat at the table. Pun was intended, right? That everybody deserves a seat at the table for a free, nutritious meal.
I don't live in Espanola. I stayed the night to take the blue bus, and I'm really enjoying it. I really am. But what I see on social media and hear from everybody around the state, from elected officials to community members, is you are out in the community every day. And the community is your family. Can you highlight that? Can you highlight on that and the importance of community?
Absolutely. So, we were raised in the Jaramillo household that you do anything you can for your family, right? And we're also raised, I think, as New Mexicans to believe that community is family. And so in Native culture and Hispanic culture, right, family means everything.
Yeah.
So when you think about you do anything for family and family is community, I'll do almost anything for my community because they're family. I've said this before, and I don't know if I've told you, Isaiah, but my partner and I don't have children. But we treat the Senate district in the Espanola Valley as if it was my child,
Okay.
and I'm raising it the best way I can with as much love and support I can give it. That way, when I hand over that child to the next person, it's in a lot better place for the next elected official to take it to an even better place.
Exactly. Youth, young adults today.
But the major one that the youth tell me is they wish they had more things to do in Espanola, right? They wish that there was a center like the Genoveva Center in Santa Fe. They wish there was just more things for them to come together in a safe space to hang out, right? That's been the major issue. And then, believe it or not, the second thing they talk about is broadband, about the lack of broadband and not being able to connect. And so that's the two top issues that teens and in and around the Espanola Valley have talked about. They're always thinking Jay Abeta is directing them. He's from the Okiawina Pueblo and is always trying to find ways on how to help teenagers in the valley.
Engagement and everything.
Yep. And so Kenny Thomas, the UNM legend who went on to play professional basketball, is a good friend of mine, and he's trying to see how he can get his tournaments to Espanola to get kids. We know we love basketball in Northern New Mexico.
I come from Gallup,
oh, yeah.
so we're rivals.
Yes, we are. So we fill up the pit every time. But just to have a fun tournament for kids, and he has a foundation where he wants to see how he can team up with me in my Senate district to see what he can bring to help the youth of Northern New Mexico.
Are here in Santa Fe. I do this with everybody, but can you look directly into the camera right there and give the youth some inspiration and why they should get voting and get active in the process?
In the 4th grade, I grew up in a family filled with love and support, but we didn't have much, right? We come from, when I say very humble beginnings, that means we were poor. But there was no shame in it. There was so much love. And so when a 4th grade teacher told me one day I could be an elected official, it sparked an interest. Because what she said is elected officials help people. And I wanted to help people. And I know those of you who might be watching this also want to help. You're probably doing it now. You're probably helping your family in any way, even if it's taking out the trash or helping with a younger brother or sister, or maybe some of you are teenagers who are working to help provide for your family. And I see you. I've been you. And so you can get involved by just simply voting, registering to vote, because your voice belongs to you. And you need to vote for policies or for people who represent your values, but no amount of what you do is too small, right? You can volunteer somewhere, you can help in any capacity, but when you get involved in government, you can help shape what laws are and how they affect all of us as New Mexicans and what they mean to you. And I'm going to give you an example. 4 teenage girls from Albuquerque Academy have a bill that they asked me to sponsor, that every public school restroom in New Mexico, every girls' restroom with one boys' restroom would offer free feminine hygiene products. And this means a lot to them. And they asked me to carry this bill because as a coach, I used to carry what was called a MRS, and that was where there was feminine or menstruating hygiene products and snacks in there. Take what you need, no questions asked. Now, they knew that concept because in rural New Mexico, sometimes menstruators can't get to a store to get the hygiene products they need. This would ensure every public school has one. Now, that bill is making it and made it through the House. I'm now going to carry that bill for those teenagers, and we're hoping it gets to the governor's desk. Just think of that. An idea these teenagers have will be a law, and those are things you can rally around as a teenager. And I'm excited to work with you and sit with you if you want to know how the process works.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. We are here at the Capitol. Time to get to the Capitol. We'll see you on the next bus or soon.
Time for our bus exchange.